The brain power of his brain just went downhill. Like,
Right, that's right. That's right. So I'm not sharing. Let me see if I leave the meeting here. Let me just leave here and see if that changes.
or kick you out of the meeting and we can see if you get some kind of.
So one of them left.
So that's not what that means. That means
So what does it look like now if you go to the live stream? Go four.
but it might be on delay. See how there's a little delay? It just jumped for it. So it's like a 15-second delay.
Yeah, okay. So if I were to share, it says share. See if that. Share. Not, not sure my screen share is it?
What are you sharing? You should be saying.
Over there. My
No, right there. Are you sharing the wrong? Are you sharing that thing?
yep, okay. It just took it a while.
The delay. Right.
Yeah, it was longer than I thought. Okay, so I turn it off. There's still, for some reason, there's 3 Louis tables. But I should,
Start labeling these. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you did.
yeah, but how do I do that? Hey, Mark, trying to share this one time.
Hey, how are you? Okay,
Yeah.
finally got some decent weather, be doing some work outside.
Not here, but the weather's good.
Well, it's either been raining or super hot.
Yeah,
Hope it is.
yesterday was great. Today's good. Tomorrow's supposed to be good.
Yeah.
September is almost always the best month in Illinois. Central. Great for doing outside work and cool at night.
Yeah.
You got plans for the weekend?
Not yet, I haven't even had time to look.
What's going on?
Me either. I'll look
So,
Friday or Saturday.
yeah, I think now it's. Now, of course, sure always had a big Labor Day with a big parade and all this stuff, but I think that the parade, I think, is on Saturday, which means cancel something. But probably it's a good idea to cancel. So,
Yeah, I heard on the, I would listen to a Newark radio station and they were gonna be having a parade.
are they still or?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good. It's hard to say what's going
Yeah, I
on
know.
with the new variants. And now, I think boosters are being scheduled. Booster shots.
Is that for just certain people?
Not really. Well, anybody. No. You know,
Compromised immune system or whatever?
yeah, that plus people in their late 70s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
But the jury's still out on whether it's needed, but question. Has it been busy?
Oh, my God, yes.
So
We're fully staffed now and it's still super busy.
it hasn't affected.
Oh, God, never. Not for you, maybe for like a month. But there are people doing stuff,
Because they're,
windows, all through the, 2020. Doors, painting.
more people are off and have
Yeah.
time to do it too.
Yeah, they start looking around, I guess. Oh, good for you to do that.
Yeah. So we just redid our green porch. I think it was fine.
Yeah.
It's fully looked now, so I needed some carpentry repair, so I did all that. All new screen. It took 2 weeks for painting it. Boy, it's so much easier. Screen porch. Green on. It's a whole different.
Hey, bud, how are you?
Good, are you?
Welcome.
Yes, that's,
What's happening?
What's that?
he has stuff.
Crazy summer, but
Yeah?
it's good.
So my porch didn't have screen on it, they would come right up, because I've seen them walk on.
Oh,
Yeah.
Feel like you've been around here for 6 months and I haven't seen you once.
I know.
Not really doing my job at this point. Oh, yeah, last month. It's like, yeah, it's been interesting.
So that's good.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey. That Randy?
Ready to wow.
Jeff. Pronounce your last name for me.
Hongonis.
What's that? I heard someone say Jonas. Jonas last. I didn't pronounce it wrong.
I have a question for you. So, we have a project downtown, doesn't matter where, Brewery District, I think rules generally apply.
It's a sort of temporary kind of pop-up, kind of, food truck rally sort of thing. What approval is needed for that? No, on private property, the whole thing's on private property. So is it like downtown commission, or just the public works? Here's one I'm asking. Either you were, this is either one you had just come out or just before. We approved that temporary nursery, the Brewery district down by, what's that, crazy guy? Down by McDonald's there across from the school. Anyway, I have a parking lot, we do a temporary nursery. So what were we giving them a permit for? Temporary.
Well, because we'll do that for like temporary, like an Italian village, when they do, every year they do the tents for the Italian village. We just issue a temporary. But I don't know.
But for what, like under what jurisdictions? Is it a courtesy or?
I think it is one, you know, because it's not a change.
And then same for building permit, it's not like it's doing business.
It doesn't seem like it.
Is anything being, yeah, I'm just, is anything being, there's nothing being built or,
Is there anything to do with electricity or water or sewer or anything like that?
yeah, the one hang up would be electric.
Yeah, so that might be it. The other thing was, is, you know, if affect traffic, is anything going to be closed? Is it, you know,
Right,
in the right of,
that makes sense.
in the right of way?
Got it. But then, but forget that. Like,
Lewis is back there.
is he back? Okay, but as it relates to approvals for, I mean,
Probably would be something like that. Exactly.
By Rich Street. Have you been by Rich Street yet?
No,
They have, so the podium is in, first floor is frame, or second floor is frame, third floor is frame, or third and the fourth.
oh my gosh.
So it's starting to take some shade.
Can't do that.
Not soon enough, you know. It was,
What about the back of the house?
we are getting started on the. And Mike kept really pushing me. I was like, well, Mike, I can do the house and pay mobilization now and they can leave, and they can pay mobilization again when they come back. Or wait until they can do it all like they want. Yeah. Yeah, now that it's freezing, we're doing in tandem doing both. The houses are gonna be done on the schedule, probably 2 months in advance of the big building in the back. So we're targeting somebody to get done with the house. The problem is gonna be the paint. So it's gonna be a mad dash right now. You know, it's painted up right, like people outside.
This is where
If we don't get it before it turns full,
Yeah.
April until we can paint. And that's the problem on the apartment. We've got to get that. But it's definitely coming together and starting to take some shape. So if you're over that way, wrap it up.
Yeah.
so as this thing develops, I'm gonna call you guys and just say, here's what I'm thinking. Yeah, and in the meantime, we'll do the same. Talk to like Walter Green, I don't know. Sir, how are you? Yeah, I think like, I see her. How are you? I'm just fine. Got some shiny for us.
You weren't there last night. Okay. We get done here.
Cool.
We got a break.
Fingers crossed for you.
Hey, I'm Jamie.
Yeah, yeah.
I was on the phone a while.
Yeah, good to see you.
Nice to meet you in person.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't get a chance to introduce myself last week because I was early but late.
Yeah, yeah, no worries, good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
So Connie, we don't have any, is there any collateral for continued applications 1 and 2? There's no hot link there to new. Okay, do you know if number 1 is coming, if they're gonna be here today?
No, they're ready for next month. But
They won't be here today. And then number 2 is,
the one that Bill and I went to after last month,
yeah,
and so we just got that worked out. Okay.
so no action. So we just have number 3.
That's acceptable.
Oh, that's drive-through
You
today.
could do that. I'm sleepy.
What's that?
I'm sleepy.
Oh, yeah, well, it's the end of it. Right.
Everyone's ready for the weekend, right?
But at HRT at noon.
I don't want
How long is HRC's meeting lasting these days?
HRC is good about moving things off the agenda, the business. So that tends to shorten pretty well, short number. Generally, we've been having like 12 to 13 applications a month. And then maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah. So they're in and out an hour, hour and a half.
They're usually pre-prepared, they got all they know what they're gonna say. Usually too much just chatter.
Yeah. Unlike us bobbleheads up here.
You're not bad at some, believe me.
I hear that.
Forever and ever.
I hear that.
Although we're being recorded, so I guess I shouldn't say that.
Oh, you're recording already? Wow, these guys are trying to keep us honest here. It's a little early for that.
Anyone wants to listen to all of this, they have time to do that,
All right, I'll put my indoor voice on.
Yeah, because by the way, we moved the microphone a little bit closer to you guys because we weren't being able to hear the commissioners. And that's why I'm even double recording. But so, yeah. Because sometimes, like Daniel, for example, he tends to sit back on this.
Yeah.
And if you're not speaking behind us up here.
Well, I like to turn mine off too, so that I'm not breathing into the mic, and this one doesn't really turn on and off, so I don't know.
Yeah, you have to repeat this one.
I don't have that ability. And then I come to the end of the meeting and realize it was turned off the whole time, and that really wasn't the point. Hey, man, long time no see. How are you?
Yeah, but I'll talk to you. Sorry. Yeah, no problem. Lock you out of this building. Is this your first meeting, Ken?
Me?
Chair?
Maybe,
Yeah.
really? It is? My glasses?
No, my chair.
Oh, is this your chair?
Yes, it is.
That's-
Maybe we're just missing a chair.
I think we're missing it. Here,
Okay.
here, I'm gonna get you a chair, Bill. Yeah, this one. Wait a minute.
No, we're doing it this way.
Who just took your chair?
Hold on, now we have 16 chairs.
Whoever sits down first last doesn't get paid. Jeff and I had the same reaction.
So,
Either
I'll
side.
come in last every day, then that's the case. I think you just need to move over. Both need to move over. Something can count. It's all the brave power we consider this. I'll sit.
CCP with.
Okay.
Is that one?
I'm assuming we have to have these on. or-
Do we? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That yours?
No, that's yours. Trying to find my agenda right now. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Are we ready?
Play first again, since everybody's here. The WebEx mic has been moved closer because we were finding that we couldn't hear commission. I'm also double recording you, just by audio. So, you know.
I'm ready.
Okay, welcome everyone. We'll call to order Brewery District Commission meeting Thursday, September 2nd, 2021. First order of business is to call out our next monthly business meeting, 12 noon on Thursday, September 23rd. Following that, our next commission hearing is 4 p.m. Thursday, October 7th, 2021. We'll swear in the staff. You'll raise your right hand, swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Connie Kovac, Assistant Historic Preservation Officer.
Thank you. Introduction of commissioners present. Are we taking a roll?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take your name. Oh, sorry. Deviani Kranick.
William Hugus.
Jeffrey Pongonis.
Cynthia Hunt.
Daniel Mather. Not leader.
Thank you. Anything, oh, I'm sorry. We have to, read our minutes into the, order here from our August 5th meeting and our special meeting on August 4th. Do we have a motion?
I move to enter into the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Nay. Thank you. Motion passes. All right. Anything in the public forum today, Connie?
No.
Approval of staff approvals first, please.
One for 505 West Whittier.
505 West Whittier, there it is. I'm just reminding myself what this is.
Which is a temporary banner.
Oh, yeah. Okay, do I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, new applications, Connie. I think we have two continued, but those were covered administratively. Is that correct?
Well, actually, the first one does need, a motion to continue to October. They will be ready for October. Present to you.
Got it. So we need a formal motion to continue.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. This is very exciting today. This is riveting.
Yes,
Uh,
it's gonna get interesting.
I guess so. And then how about application number 2, Connie?
So just for the record, I'll read through what happened. Number 2, this is 831, 833 South Front Street. This was to request to remove exterior paint from the exterior brick walls, repair existing brick planting bed, and remove existing plants and weeds and so forth in the tree lawn. So paint removal with dry ice was begun, you remember that. And discussion with the property owner, I told her that, we should stop because the method that they were using probably doing more damage. And we had a discussion about this at last month's hearing. And it's decided, so I'll just read this, for a motion on at the August 5th BDC hearing, Commissioner Hugus and HPO staff met with the property owner on site on August 17th. Following discussion, it was agreed that the best result would be to repaint the exterior brick walls and the stone sills and lintels of the cottage in order to best preserve the brick and stone. Applicant will submit paint colors to staff for approval. The 2 banners installed by a previous owner will be removed. One of them is removed, the other one was full of bees. So I'm not sure if she's gotten that taken care of, but those illegal, basically unapproved banners will be taken down. And she will submit a new application for any new signage. So no action needs to be taken there.
Did you guys work, help her find the historic brick for the planters too?
Yes.
Great, awesome.
Can I ask one more question? We have some impressive historic folks in the room today. So as it relates to the dry ice removal and sandblasting and chemical, do you all see those in the same light in terms of how much damage they do during removal?
Chemical is the best thing to use. And I've actually had, in Old Oaks, recently, in the past few years, at least 3 people who paint without approval.
Uh-huh.
And 2 so then they get a code order and they're required to remove it. 2 of them have been really successfully removed with a chemical paint remover. What people are using right now, which is working really well, it's sort of like a poultice. They put sort of I don't even know what the material, if it's fabric or some kind of paper or whatever, and they put on the chemical remover, and they put this poultice over it, leave it on a certain amount of time, and it comes off really quite well. And this was the last one was a sort of a porous stone facade.
Yeah.
And it's all gone.
And do we think that does some damage to the material upon removal, or we think generally it doesn't do any damage?
I don't think it does.
I haven't seen any lately, no.
Got it. And the dry ice and sandblasting, we generally consider that to kind of do about the same amount of damage?
It appears to be, because we were even discussing that, and I think maybe the damage that we saw, a lot of it was from the dry ice removal.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that sidebar.
Okay.
Okay.
It was good.
Okay. Okay, application number 3 is BD 2109-002 514-518 South High Street. Come on up. Yeah, grab a chair. Swear you in. Raise your right hand. Swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
And thank you, and your names for the record.
Mike Shannon, attorney on behalf of the applicant.
Brad Parrish, Archall architect.
Jamie Overslake, Ship Capital Group, applicant.
Great. Connie, do you want to kick us off?
Yes, so this is for demolition of the existing building interior. previous building additions and surface parking lot, preserving the 1927 exterior shell, and construction of a new 7-story mixed-use building with 5 stories above the existing 2-story building. The building site is located within the northern tier of the Brewery District, which is Livingston Avenue to East Sycamore Street, an area within the Brewery District that is appropriate for development of taller buildings along with the High Street corridor. Staff supports development of reasonably higher buildings along South High Street, where currently occupied by surface parking lots or non-contributing 1 to 3-story buildings, taking the character and scale of existing historic buildings along South Pearl and South Wall Street into consideration. Revised materials have been submitted, responding to comments for additional massing setbacks, which includes that the entire north elevation and all 4 corners of the addition have been moved back since last review. Exterior materials and finishes have been revised, and screening of the transformer at the Blink of Pearl corner. The reduction of massing is appreciated. And my one comment would be that extending some brick to the roof line on the north and south elevations, as it was at the August submittal, did, I think, helped to break up the massing a bit more. Now it's all, kind of one flat box. So this is, again, conceptual, provide comments.
All right, so this is conceptual, even though demolition is in front of us today, is that right?
Are you asking for demolition? No, it's also.
Okay, we're here.
Great conception.
Got you, conceptual. I was absent last month. I think everyone else was here. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Got it. And there were some comments and we chatted already. You've got some response to that. So do you want to lead off here?
Jamie, did you want to say something first?
No, you can.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, very briefly, we've been at this conceptually since March, and there has been fairly significant turnover in the board, at least a couple of new members. And just for historical perspective, I wanted to remind you that when we came in March, we were actually at 84 feet in height. The proposal before you today is 74 feet to the roof line. And I need to thank Mr. Hugus for the following fact. I've always said that this is a 35-foot height district. I did not realize historically it was a 60-foot height district until the imposition of the overlay standards. And for what it's worth, I confirm that, and that I learned something. Secondly, when we do the final programming, we're going to be needing a parking variance, but we submitted to Connie, albeit just today. We do have a letter from the parking garage directly across the street confirming that we have up to 50 spaces leasable there. That meets the standard that the BZA typically follows when they look at parking variances in and of themselves.
Just to be clear, the parking garage halfway down the street?
500 South, well, it's my old law building, which was 500 South Front Street, but the garage actually faces on High Street, directly
Yes, all right.
across the street. So I just wanted to bring those two issues up in terms of context. That number one, we originally started at 84 to the roof line, we're now at 74. Number two, when we were looking at possibly a significant parking variance due to the proximity of High Street and arguments you've heard before, it's also should be noted that we have taken the extra step to secure 50 spaces across the street. So with that, I think the more important testimony would be from Brad Parrish, our architect, who could address specific comments and changes as it relates to the last meeting.
Brad, before you start, can I ask one question? Did you reduce building floor heights, or did you eliminate a floor to capture that
Building
10?
floor heights, and he's referencing the original proposal as brought in March, not the proposal that I got at the last meeting.
Okay,
So I think there's clarity there,
Yeah.
that, from that original, we did knock down floor to floor, to get to where we are today.
got it,
Okay?
got it.
And
Thank you.
remind me again, I apologize, I remember the dialogue, but I don't remember where the conclusion ended up. So you're saying we are covered by a 60-foot max height at this stage?
Technically, it's a 35-foot height district under the overlay standards. So that's what you look
All
at.
right.
I did not realize that it had been 60 foot before the imposition of the overlay.
it may not have been technically the overlay, but that is the situation. That it was 60 and now 35. I think it deserves to be back at 60 at least.
But do we have to create a variance situations for that? This-
So just to be clear, we do not need a height variance, Connie?
No, we do.
We do.
Oh, we do?
We
Yeah,
do.
we would alter, since this is conceptual, I didn't bring in the parking variance.
That's fine.
Height
I just
variance.
want to make sure I
Okay,
understand.
Yeah.
I lied.
But we're,
Anyway,
say you're confused.
yeah,
Well, we're still in excess of even the old number at 60.
Right.
That's correct.
okay. Thanks, Brad.
No, no problem. We wanted to come back again for conceptual, because there was a lot of loose ends and conversations about the last design, and I think I wanted to button that up before we advance to the final, final drawings for us as well as the submission. If you go to page 25 in our submission, you'll kind of see the diet the building got, received at least on the upper floors. And so the original mass that we presented is the first image. The second image is an overlay of the current design with that. So all of the orange area, we began to suck in the building from all the corners, as well as, we started to play with the materiality and drop that down as well. So that the penthouse units could get, some exterior balcony spaces there, but also, just by switching the materials, reducing the mass. So the subsequent pages that are in the package, you see, there's the sections for, on High Street and the adjacent streets, where the cornice line was and where we're proposing it is at this time. So we felt that was really, really trying to listen to what you say. We know, in discussions with our client, that just hacking off the floor makes this not a project. And so we were really trying to work within those contexts of reducing it, inward here, from the building edge. A couple of the other things that were brought up in the previous meeting was obviously the transformer on the corner. We've now articulated with sort of a brick wall with a gate that would open. We've had some graphic text on there denoting the Brewery District. I don't know if that's final, and I would say that's loose at this
That can be
point.
whatever, it's a graphical depiction at this time.
What
So,
page are you on? I'm sorry. What page is the graph?
30.
oh, 33.
Oh, not far enough, okay.
Yeah, over in the corner, and I think some of the imagery that we have in the back. Another question or comment from the previous meeting was the south elevation of the garage. It was shown as all CMU. If you will go to 32, you will see that we've introduced some of the same kind of brick piers there, and then inlaid with some Boston ivy along that wall on it. So, again, this is south facing, so we're assuming that we can get some growth there. Obviously with the sunlight. This also, by sucking all the sides in, you can see we start to get sort of a nice terrace space on the transition from the existing building to the new higher portions of the project. Lastly, I think one of the comments we had was about materiality. You'll see that the hardy plank that we had, or hardy panel that we had last time, we're looking at a Terrell North America, which is like a terracotta plank right now, as to articulate the top portion of it. It's on page 43.
That's the dark
That's the
gray
dark
color,
gray, yeah.
Brad.
Yep.
So
And
the
we-
balance of the building, just in broad strokes, is masonry
Yep.
with metal infill panels, and then the top is the hardy plank.
All right, no, it's the Terrell, which is it's a terracotta.
Oh, it's terracotta?
Yeah,
Got it.
All right, Brad, back to the south elevation, if you wouldn't mind. So
yes.
the infill between piers and what's the Boston ivy is attached to,
To the block wall that's there, that we would paint it to a darker color. So that it would, kind of adhere to that.
So the zigzags are what, a pattern or?
That's just showing that it's not full growth.
Okay,
You're
but it's
gonna
gonna,
see some of the block wall,
yeah,
obviously, right?
but the ivy will grow up from the bottom, not down from the
Down from
top.
yes.
Okay. Got it.
That definitely softens that face.
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah, but we're just, and I'm not opposed to it, but plants are temporary, walls are forever, and as soon as the irrigation gets turned off on a south-facing wall, that ivy's dead.
We dealt with that with the Grange parking
Yeah.
lot where they promised planting and it's miserably bad.
It's, yes, thank you. Okay, got it. So that's painted, or, I'm sorry.
We didn't discuss if it's an integral color to the CMU, so it always stays that darker charcoal color. That's not very expensive versus the maintenance of paint on it.
Yeah.
Probably the integral, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference like between CMU and architecturally.
Yeah, colored.
Colored.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I think it, yeah, I'm sure the owner will decide that they'll want integrally colored block. Opposed to surface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, if something's growing on it, obviously it's gonna, the paint would deteriorate right away.
Yeah. Okay.
And Connie, just so I can be clear, your issue is with the black, the fact that the top is so large compared to what it was before?
Yeah, I mean, if we don't have the comparison, but on both of those sides, the lighter brick did go up in certain areas to the top, and for me, that just broke it up better than having the same material on the top of the floor.
Brad, the residential windows, are those, would you consider those, sort of, more flat to the facade, or are they deep set in with a nice shadow line?
Yeah, I would say in the masonry, they're a little set back, but obviously the upper portion or the terracotta, it's a little flatter.
Yeah, we wouldn't want that to just be
Same plane.
very same, yeah, thank you. Any comments from the commission?
To see really good renderings here, are there any like eye level renderings people see that we can maybe even share it later? That's something.
Yeah, I mean, I would say flip to the back, the 36, 37, shows street views.
Yeah, just to get a good gauge of what people will see when they're walking, is it how, in terms of scale of the building?
Yeah, I think that's important.
And what the Pearl
What the
Street
Pearl-
houses will have, right?
Yeah, we have the Pearl Street sections and the relationship of that.
Right.
Um,
I think she's asking for perspective, which I think we think from the street level.
on the back.
Yeah.
I'd say the 37. You can kind of start to see the adjacent, on the left there, there's the mass of a house that would be, that's,
Is that sufficient?
Yeah, yes, but maybe next time when we come back would be something. Since
Okay.
you have renderings. Right?
Sure.
It would be really good to see.
We can do that.
And the ground floor, Brad, has alley facing units along Pearl Street, right?
Yeah,
That's not
those are-
just,
those are townhomes on the backside
Right.
of the, yeah.
yeah, got it. Brad, is this just like a 5/2, so it's stick on concrete or something?
Yep.
Yeah. Got it. Do you want to talk about next steps, or does anyone else want to make any
On
comment?
On the west and the north facades, I appreciate your breaking up the bulk with different materials, and it looks pretty successful to me. I think the south side,
Yes.
which is,
Needs a little help.
yeah, it looks a little flat. Is that-
Above the podium, Bill, or,
I'm talking about, there's so much black linear.
oh, I see.
The other facades, they've done a really good job of stepping it around. So
I even
maybe
wanna
the
take
middle
center out,
section,
Yeah,
maybe the middle section gets some brick up one more story to kind of break that horizontal line.
Yeah, I think, we're discussing as you're talking as well, like the north elevation, they go higher and then lower. I think that middle one could do that same.
Yeah.
So take the middle one up and do the same cornice work
Right.
detail.
right,
Mhm.
That is, that's on the,
right.
Mhm.
Was there a reason you did that on the south side? I was trying to figure it out.
I think we were trying to give different, units, different patio spaces outside, right? So there's some high, there's some on the fourth, so fourth and fifth are have kind of unique.
The top of the brick corresponds with the terrace.
Yeah, that south side doesn't have those outy,
Right.
Is that
patio
the technical term?
space. I think that's pretty technical, Daniel.
I think so.
That's what we said. I mean, this is an apartment project, there's any and outy balconies.
There you go.
Okay,
And I do appreciate plant material on the transition between the
Yep.
existing and the new.
Yep, that's nice, true. I would feel better though if the middle section had some decision.
Yeah, I would. It's just a
Expansion. It's
too
funny.
horizontal of a line.
Right.
That side.
Too stark,
this.
yeah.
It's not a deal breaker for me, but
No,
I
but I
hear
think
you.
it'd be nice.
Yeah, it's just a
Yeah,
fine.
or if it had dimension and you'd see a shadow, maybe that would be okay.
To that point, Jeff, overall on this as a conceptual review, I am finding a hard time finding much to complain about.
Yeah, yeah.
Agree.
Yeah, I think this generally is in spirit, what we've been looking at over the past 6 months. I've always been a fan. I hope you're not compromising the interior floor to ceiling height because, you know,
That would suck.
Yeah.
low ceilings are,
We're 11'8", floor to floor, so what we should yield, just under 10, yeah, just under 10.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah, I agree. This is a nice iteration. So I think this has been a big improvement.
okay.
I have something, Daniel's comment was a really good segue to, Louis, can you pull up sheet 43? And I would like to have some dialogue so that we can get some direction today, so we only do this one time, because we spent a lot of time on our Ridge Street project with Connie going through windows. What's in the packet is a Lindsay single hung. We know the integral grid does not work and it would need to be simulated divided light, but it's a vinyl window, not on the approved window list. And it was something that we just hadn't discussed when we got this packet in. Being conceptual, it wasn't a hard push for us. We were more focused on massing, but we don't want to come in next month and see you the next 3 months after that, just talking about windows. So really, this is the one point that I thought someone would bring up and say, hey, this is our conversation piece. This is our complaint piece. So can we
We
get
haven't seen the window. I have.
you have, but, we don't want to bring a vinyl window in and get tabled and you say, no, vinyl's not going to work. We'd rather come in next month with the right window and plan for that in advance. So, we're working on getting a sample of this, but I don't want to go through the hoops and hurdles and logistics of it if it isn't going to make sense and it's not what the commission would like to see. So,
And-
Just
and-
to, oh, go ahead.
I guess to add, I mean, in context, if people would like to see what this window is, the White Castle development that we just did, all the multifamily project has this window that we're providing. It's a very great final window if that exists.
Have you reviewed it, Con?
It's being presented as a test case for an HRC project. So they did a mock-up, and I went to look at that a week or so ago, and I made several comments. The one thing that I have said is that this is the first vinyl window that I've seen that they're changing the look of it, the texture of it, so that it actually does have the appearance more, it can sort of fool you a little bit, that it could be a steel casement. It doesn't have the shiny, slick look of vinyl. And it has this sort of just has a different texture and just a slightly rough texture to it. So I had several comments about the mock-up that I saw, that the stiles and rails were just very narrow, and it had this frame, sort of curved frame all around the window.
Curved?
Yeah, it's sort of bent frame all around the window.
Curved, you mean from the window to the edge of the,
The jam?
No, not the jam, so that it say this is your style here. Here's your style. Here's your rail, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, So there's sort of a frame that covers over the upper and lower sash, which shouldn't be there. So that instead of just seeing the full upper and lower sash, there's just sort of this, like some cars have a little, thing at the top of their window that you can put on to keep the sunlight out. That's what it kind of looks like to me, and it's all around the window. And so I said, I think that's not a good feature. So they did a second mock-up and it still has that. So for me, I'm on my second iteration of a mock-up that I could recommend.
Brad, does that track with what you've installed?
Because they will make windows per your order.
Yeah, I don't recall ever having that shadow line.
Is that a frame that you're describing or?
It is. I mean, it's like a frame around the entire.
Okay.
It kind of protects the glass to the actual frame, the real frame. It's kind of a protective layer.
I don't know what they put it on.
And can we go back to the Rich Street project? So you said you tried this material on Rich
I
Street?
don't remember if it was this window or
It was.
Okay, that's just an example.
a similar historical profile vinyl window, and we spent 3 or 4 months coming back. We're really anxious to get this project moving forward. We don't want to spend 3 or 4 months just on windows.
Yeah, and that vinyl window was not.
The Windsor one?
Yeah.
On
But
Rich.
it was an
Yes.
aluminum window that they did, and I looked at just the sections and stuff like that, and I think before this project ever came, and I said, I thought I could recommend it as a test case, and then when I actually saw the mock-up, I did recommend it as a test case, and that's what they ended up using.
Okay, so can I ask a bigger question? So there are 2 projects in the Brewery District that I won't mention by name. It's not going to offend anyone here, but it doesn't matter. Where after it being built, I thought the windows were deceptively small. And I don't know why.
Size wise.
Yeah, like
Scale.
I was super excited about the project gets built and the windows are mini windows in my
Are you
uneducated.
concerned about that here?
And I want to ask everyone do we all think the windows are the right size? There's nothing. I'm sorry if I'm putting us on a little sidebar here, but do we think the windows are accurate, or appropriately scaled? And I'm asking that because I don't want a product to push us to a window size.
But these are made per project. So you have control over exact size.
And most times it's a transom with a single hung, and they're kind of built up as, as you need.
To get
it's
scale.
Separate units, yeah.
Yeah.
To get the height, based on the unit layout, and I think the rhythm across the facade it feels about right. They're almost floor to ceiling, so then a lot of natural light in these sort of luxury apartments. That's really what sells these.
Yeah, by the way, I think it looks right. I just wanted to bring it up since we're talking about windows because this is always the most elusive conversation we have. And I know it's very pricey, a very important economic component for you as well.
Scale, it feels right to me. If they're truly floor to ceiling, that feels right. Yeah.
They feel right according to the renderings.
Right, exactly.
Perspective. My question is, what about the original building facade? What windows are there and what windows are you proposing on that 2-story facade?
On the front of the building?
Or these the original windows?
Yes,
We weren't touching those.
you're leaving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see vinyl at street level.
We're leaving them unless when we short the
Right,
building
under
up, we
construction.
discover that they're inoperable or they can't be repaired.
But at that time, you'd come back in.
Yeah, we would have a
yeah.
conversation about that. We wouldn't just take them.
Because to Bill's point, we'd be much less enthusiastic about
We were just gonna take them.
that. See how many months, that takes.
Daniel, did you have anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to rephrase what I think you're saying is that it would be a shame if the amount of windows or the size of the windows were reduced going forward. And we're afraid of that.
Yeah, I just want to be careful that we're not making a decision that has ramifications that are architectural and in nature.
Do you think that on the other project you're talking about, that we didn't recognize window size, or you think it downsized as part of the?
I don't.
Okay.
It's a great.
We don't
question.
have any intent to reduce them.
Yeah.
And the final submission would show you, would show you the relationship of the window to the floor and to the elevation, with the appropriate details. So you guys will have your time at that.
Yeah, the example, so I think it's back here.
I just want to say it out loud because I feel like.
That's a different.
That's a different proportion.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, you're
So-
exactly right.
So what we're talking about is a taller, narrower window.
Yeah.
double-
Mhm.
Yeah, that's just what we got from Lindsay's
Right.
website.
Understood.
Okay,
I have a question.
yes.
As a matter of process, about your question about the type of windows, that's not Connie. That's not something that's gonna tank the project so much as it can be handled by staff after it's approved.
What could be,
The window to be used.
The actual window selection.
yeah, I mean, if you feel comfortable leaving it.
Yeah.
You feel comfortable
I didn't
taking
like that laugh.
it? Do you feel comfortable taking it, or do you want support?
Well, I
Perfect.
honestly think she's tougher than me.
Just kidding.
Okay.
I
agree.
If you guys are comfortable with the project next month and the loose item is windows and we have to work with Connie versus come back for no longer, we're happy.
It would be great to see the
No, we have-
window.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as a matter of.
Can you bring the window in next month?
That's-
So can you bring the window in next month so we can see what Connie's talking about? That'd be really helpful.
Want to talk about anything like other details that will come up? So you know.
Yeah.
It's like.
Anything
we
else you're worried
talked
about?
If there's gonna be a restaurant, grease traps, any kind of, and trash and exterior light fixtures.
Trash is serviced off of Blankner Street.
Inside.
Inside the garage. We hope that there's a restaurant. Our goal is for there to be a restaurant, but we haven't marketed this. We've talked to a couple of people briefly and they've expressed interest, but it's not to LOI or whatnot. We certainly will do our, I don't want to overspeak code on where grease traps can go, but we will put it in as least offensive of a spot that is we will put it in the most desirable location we can. I know you can't put it inside the building, if I remember correctly.
You can, there are a couple ways to put it inside a building now.
You gotta get a waiver.
You don't have any site, which is why I say that out loud.
Yeah, you gotta get a waiver.
Yeah, I don't think you can put it in the right of way. That's not even yeah.
No, and we wouldn't be able to put it like in the corner where the transformer, obviously, because it would conflict. On the southeast corner.
But we've heard several different restaurant concepts and the one that I heard today may not even require a grease trap. So it's kind of going to be we've got to feel it out as an ownership.
Do they already exist from the prior? The traps already exist from the prior restaurant, yes?
Sure, there's something.
Where
In
are
the
they?
parking lot.
Gotta be
They're in
something.
the parking room.
Yeah.
And last time we talked, if depending on the restaurant concept, they might do an improvement to the streetscape or a.
Yeah, I would imagine whoever goes there is going to want some sort of a patio.
Right.
Yeah, but
That's not part of this application.
we'll come back for that.
Yeah, I'd like to see you guys improve the streetscape with some significant shade trees, just as a matter of,
Well, if you have a patio.
Responsibility.
Street,
to the, neighborhood and the project. This is 65 units, it's 8 stories, whatever the heck it is. It would be great to
That's a code requirement.
put
It
some
would be.
significant street trees along High Street and open up those tree planters so that you can get some real tree
I mean,
canopy
the
there.
ones that are there
Yeah.
kind of tiny?
They're nice.
We can. We can-
That would be great.
Asking for an upgrade there.
Yeah.
It certainly would make the patios more comfortable for the,
Yeah.
people don't sit in it until late in the afternoon.
But the good news is we're talking about trees.
Yeah. Frosting. Okay. Any final comments? Any questions or comments for us?
Thank you very much for your time and consideration. It's greatly appreciated.
I have one question for Connie, one more question for Connie. We've received no feedback from this from either the German Village Commission or from the residents of Pearl Alley.
Why would we?
So I would think that people would be paying attention and come in and say something if they felt strongly
Public
about it.
notice that this is going on.
I know,
so
that's my
they
point.
Come here if they want
That's my point.
opinions.
Thank you for making it for me. Bill.
There are several Mike Shannon most wanted posters.
I'm sure there
I
are.
don't think it's personalized to you, Mr.
Those have been up for years though.
I appreciate you switching the Hardy out
Yes.
to the Terreal North America product.
That's a nice upgrade.
It is a nice upgrade.
Okay, Connie, anything else for this applicant? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any old business or new business to discuss today, Connie? Numbers?
I do expect to have, I expect to have our 7th commission.
Right here.
That hasn't happened in 10 years.
And who is it? You know?
Had so many members I can't remember.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know either.
Very interesting. Okay. Anything else? I have a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Nay, no, thank you. Good night, everyone. Great to see you in person.
I know.
We like to get business taken care of here.
That's Commissioner Wood's.
You've been so hard to.
I guess I. Hey, sue me.
It won't turn. Mine doesn't. Just.
That was broken that.
Max, and you recording. Even when we didn't have that.
Did you?
You hear? Yeah, I mean, you couldn't hear me before, so this is my first time. This is the weird, so I'm gonna listen to it, see if I can hear better.
So this is.
But I. Start being able to hear.